He's a Grammy-nominated recording artist. He's a producer. He's a phenomenal singer, incredible performer. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for my man, the one, the only. Give it up for Stokley. Y'all can do better than that, man. You came here to hang out. What up, what up, what up? My man. Look at him, colorful as always.
Hey. Like sunshine.
How you doing, man?
I'm great. Oh, that's cool, but in a few days it might be freezing again, so that's not cool.
No doubt, no doubt. And I know you've been here before. This is, how many times you been here now? 3, 4?
No. This actually was the first stage when Mint came here. This was the stage we played on, so this is very very cool.
Yeah. And you're back again.
Yeah, full circle.
So I think this is like maybe the 4th or 5th time you've been aboard with the Supercruise.
Right.
You're always one of the favorites, man.
Yeah, man, love being here. Seeing the people, just having a good time. So yeah.
What do you love about?
How many newcomers? How many? Okay, yeah. All right. Yeah, get your naps in. Get your naps in. Yeah.
What do you love about performing on, like cruises like this? Because you're away from everything. You got 7 days hanging out with us. What's that like for you?
It's amazing because I really can't. I was just talking to Asia from Fatine from Kendrick Family Song, and we're like, I don't know if we would come on a cruise if it wasn't something like this, like extract the music and the culture and everything. It's like, I don't think I'd be here, So I think that's the special, just seeing family and seeing us. I love us loving on us. You know what I mean? So that's the biggest thing for me. Yeah.
And I know you don't just come here and perform. You also get an opportunity to hang out with some of these artists and see their performances. Any of them your favorites? Any of your favorite artists that you've seen?
Yes, yeah, you know what I mean? They said, let us see you tonight. She's amazing. And Mike Phillips and just a whole host of people. So get out and see as many people as you can. Support artists. We've been under that whole COVID thing for a couple of years. So we are as rabid to perform for you all as you are to want to consume it all. So, let's get out and get some of this life, So, yeah.
And let's go back, since you brought up COVID. How was that for you, man? Did you get sick at all?
Horrible, man. Like everybody else. Yeah, it was new. It was something we never experienced before, and it was just we all didn't know what to do. We were there's still some people that are sick, some people that are still dying. Mm-hmm. And inside of all that too, we found some new ways to do things. We found new ways to do business. We found new ways to live. We found new ways to love on each other. And the biggest thing we found out, just with life, there's always some things you take for granted. And like breathing, we just always do it. So thinking that that's never gonna go away, it was kind of scary, but I think probably we never reflected in that way, in our lives, just because we never had to, never had to think like that. So, but there was a lot of things that came out of it, a lot of different ways, like I said, to do business, and we just, when we come out of it, like I said, just to love on each other and just to really make sure that we are detailed with our days to have thanks in a real way that we've never had before. So I think that's where my head was at, just trying to go through. It was like everybody else, like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
What is tomorrow? What is life? Is this it? You know what I mean? So it was terrible and good at the same time.
Sure.
Some good things to come out of it as well.
Yeah.
So
in order to feed your family during those times, were you doing a lot of virtual things at all?
Yeah, so I think virtual life came to life. You know what I mean? We knew that Instagram and all these things, but like Versus, some of these things came out of COVID because the artist community wanted a chance to. They were like, we can't do anything, so we've seen a lot of interviews done from home. A lot of business, you all still zooming from home. I ain't going back into work, And we see everything. A lot of different industries have changed. We're trying to get people.
It was maybe 2016 or 2017 when you made that decision to go solo.
Mm-hmm.
How tough a decision was that for you?
It wasn't tough. You got to figure that. Okay, so with Mint Condition, we had been in existence since 1986. Do your calculations, yes. It is now 2023. So,
Long time.
a long time. I think with 20 years or 15, whatever, anything after 15 is like, anybody doing anything is pretty remarkable, you know, and to have, you know, we always had a dream of brothers coming together, working and, you know, showing that we can have this brotherhood, still do, and be a band. We came along, it was like the bands were on the way out. So you had a lot of singing groups. People were trying to downsize because it just wasn't cost effective. However, we still saw a lot of value and people love live music. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. I don't care if you have pre-recorded music, that's fine, you know, but we just love, you know, bands of the 70s, big horn bands, just performances, you know, the musicality, we love the choreography, we love the production of it all. So that was our mindset, you know, for all the Earth, Wind and Fires and all the, like, even like the rock and rollers like Led Zeppelin and, you know, Ohio Players and, you know, Miles Davis, just a whole host of people. We embraced it all. Everything, that I have an amazing band, The View, who they're all band leaders in their own right. So I'm just honored to have them play along with me. So they gave me all of that energy and more. And so, yeah, that was the surprising things I was like, oh man, it's gonna feel really different, you know.
Yeah.
And other than not seeing the faces of Men Condition, you know, it was just a natural progression, you know, so, yeah.
So the current album, let's talk about that a little bit.
Sankofa.
Yes. Why that name, talk about the concept of that album for us.
The concept is a Ghanaian term, meaning go back and get it, and that for me just means remember who you are, what you came from. And I just wanted to paint a picture, just all the music that's been filtered through me, all the genres, all the branches of the tree of black music, which is vast, deep, and broad, and just amazing. So you can hear a lot of different influences from the 70s to sounds from Trinidad and Tobago. I love steel pan is one of my favorite instruments, a lot of, you know, different percussion instruments. Actually got a chance to go to Ghana. And I'm still unpacking that trip. I'm sure some of you all have been, and it's just amazing. And I'm still making those connections of who we are, why we are, the way we are, and everything. So it was just I wanted to get a bunch of my friends. You know, got Snoop on there, and, you know, a brother from Ghana named Kid. He's kind of like the Chris Brown of Ghana.
Okay, go ahead.
My name is Wendy Hicks, and first I just want to say thank you for sharing your beautiful, amazing gift with us. You are an amazing performer, artist, songwriter.
Thank you.
So as an independent artist representing the 50 and older generation, as well as this next generation of artists that are coming up, what are, like, maybe the top 2 words of advice that you could share in having a successful or sustainable career in music?
For me, it's what it's always been. There's 3 things I usually say, which is get your craft up, you know, in a real way. Really study the greats, you know. So your craft, learn about the business, and stay abreast of technology, because technology is what moves every industry forward. Every industry has changed, you know, because of technology, because of the digital age, you know. But, you know, your skill set, younger generation, they tend to want everything like it's, you know, with no work. They see people who, like myself and others who have done incredible work, and they're like, oh, I want that, but they don't know what it took to get here. They don't know the work, which I'm sure you already know. That's the main thing, and it sucks. It's boring and it's repetitive, yeah, but you got to do it. And that's with anything. You got to put in your hours and put in your time. You have to make those mistakes. You have to make those mistakes. I tell them they're always trying to be perfect, but that's where you learn. That's where the stuff is. You know what I mean? So yeah, getting the craft up and learning the industry around you. You know, get to know some agents, some lawyers. There are many different things within this industry that make this thing go. There are many different people, many different jobs that people do. I can't do what I do without the team that I have. You know, it takes a long time to get a good team, but really are savvy enough to know how to move. You know what I mean? You can't just have anybody up there. You got to have, you know, a little bit of experience. Just have that internal clock. And then also with the technology, it's moving. You know, you can't just, oh, this is hard. I can't. This is foot. No, take the time to learn it. You know, otherwise you're gonna get left in the dust. That's in any industry. You know, so I just always challenge myself with those three things. So I tell the younger generation and people who are older too, you know, that don't let that fall by the wayside. Cause it's like, you know, learn it. You know, just always be a student of it.
Give us some examples when you said mistakes. What are some of those mistakes that you're talking about when you say that?
Well, one would be, you know, I hear musicians a lot, they be like, I ain't learning that shit, man. You know, like you have to, man. You know, it's just like, I know that you put in the work for years and years and years, but I mean, that same attitude that got us here, you have to continue that kind of, that curiosity. I'm saying that because I was that, and that I didn't do that for a couple of years when the technology was moving forward, and I found myself like I was dragging. It's like, you know, weren't as many sessions, weren't as many people calling, that kind of thing. So I think that's a mistake. I was like, okay, so I was like, I had to, okay, let me grab myself, get up, learn this, and so I'm not saying that just to say it. I'm saying that what, yeah, it happened to me. So, and that's a huge thing. To move in whatever you're doing, however you're trying to move forward in any industry, not just music, but I mean you have to definitely pull yourself up in that way, you know.
This young lady right here had a question.
Thank you.
You guys came out.
Yeah.
I had a chance to see you this past summer at Festival of the Sea.
Oh, yeah.
The energy that you have in your show is just amazing. Where do you get that internal drive to put forth that much energy into every show that you do?
Well, you know, back in 1900.
Yeah, I get it from y'all. I mean, charged up, and of course, the older you get, you got to do more to stay. And you know, I've always been somewhat athletic, and that has helped. But just trying to keep the machine in full swing at all times, or whatever it is, you know, and protect it. The older you get, you know. With this whole COVID thing, I had a lot of different practices, you know, that were earth-based for a long time. And people would laugh at me. I'd carry all my stuff. And, what do you got now? What is that? What you drinking? You know, I've had so many calls in the last 5 years. You know that stuff you used to take? What let me get, you know. And I'm seeing all these things on the internet that, you know. So these things, I've always been kind of on the quest for better health, you know, is one thing. Just trying to eat things that are, just trying to consume things that are good to get this electricity happening all the time, you know. Fitness, eating, and then you all doing what I do is just really keeps me, keeps a light, you know, burning inside me. So, you know, every time I get charged up, I see you all, you know, smiling faces, you know, wanting to come out and change the mood, and you know, so you change my mood, and I just continue to do it. So it's.
Can you tell them how important the energy from an audience is to an artist?
Well, it's life. To me, it's a conversation. It's like we're having a conversation. It's inhale, exhale, and it's like preaching the congregation. We know what it is. It's the church. At the end of the day, if you look around at our culture, it's like. It is nothing but church. You have one person up there, and it's like amen. You know what I'm saying? Amen. I mean, you know, all these is just it's a conversation. So I think even though we don't know it, that's kind of the basis of it. It's one of these things like when you go back to the continent, it's like, wow, this is like we do this all the time. We don't even know that it's so natural. You know, so picking up on that, I mean, it's just like that energy. It's in us, man. So, and I can see all that energy when we come to the shows. It's like you guys want to be entertained, and it's like it's entertaining for me, and I just, you know, just keep me going, you know. But that's important to have that conversation, just like we're having right now. We just have it with music with vibration, which is life. Hope that makes sense.
Because I saw that show at Festival of the City. But I saw you, my husband and I saw you at Essence Festival years back. It was a smaller space. You were with men.
Yes.
And we left that show saying, oh, that's Stokley. Yeah, he's a good performer. Oh, yeah. But that show that he's talking about was there was a different vibe. Yeah, you were more energetic. But I wonder, is it the difference in the music? Because that show, that's why when I said Stokley's gonna be on here again, we were still excited to see you again because you did your thing.
Right.
You did that.
Oh, thank you.
So
Wow.
even we were on a family trip and my children hadn't seen you before, and you have new fans.
Right.
You were doing their dances. You did that. So there's a different vibe between you, Stokley, and Mint Condition. So what is it? What's the difference? What is it? What you just said? Just taking care of yourself. But you were doing things like what? How old is he again?
Absolutely, it's learning and just recommitting to the craft. Challenging yourself. Having new experiences, traveling, meeting new people. Touchdown in Ghana is a thing. Just different places and spaces where people appreciate you because you have your head down for so long doing what you do, and you don't know how it's affecting people. You don't know what people are coming through, what they've gone through, and what they're about to go through. And hearing testimonies is something that affects me as well. So it's like, wow, if they can go through that, then I can give a little bit more. I can go deeper, I can go broader. This person's like, I did this for them, or the music anything I've been a part of has done something for them. It's just rededicating myself, and it is some of the music, different space, different time, Yeah, but thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm so excited.
Well, I hope y'all enjoy this one on whatever.
And I love that question. I just want to kind of expound on that a little bit as well because it kind of reminded me of radio because we do radio, you do music. And in radio, we can have some shows where we're like, when we're done with our show, like, now that was a show, Do you have those moments? And when you have that, like she said, what is the difference between a regular good show and like, man, that show tonight was just the show?
Sometimes it's just, the perception of the crowd. It really is. It's like whatever we are going through. There's always like a bass, like an automatic pilot. We rehearse. Like the band is amazing. I can't take total credit because they give me so much energy with honestly, Ashley and Doran, everybody, front with me and everybody. Just they're the engine. I'm just the face, and I'm trying to do a great job to entertain and just to bring you all joy. But it's a little bit of all of it. You know what I mean? In the space that we're in right now, I just feel like there's an urgency as well. I feel like I need to give you all this, just like this extra bit, because it's been a tough couple of years, and even before that, So I just feel like I got to. There's so much I can feel it inside you all. So it's like that gives me everything that I need. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's a ridiculous list of
What you waiting on, man?
And
Make the phone call.
Well, who says that we ain't right on? Yeah, we're always. That's the thing. The technology brings us so much closer.
Yeah.
It just depends on everybody's time. Because there's songs and stuff floating around. It's like, well, let's use this for this and that kind of thing. So,
Gotcha.
We'll see.
Okay.
Hopefully soon, man.
Got a question? Then I'll come to you, brother.
Yeah, my question is really that transition that you went through from being part of a supergroup to being...
Because they automatically get it because Dad got it.
That's tough. Uh-oh, here he comes.
Alpha. Deck 3, Zone 4, Studio.
What's yours is now theirs. How do you teach them that same hustle and grind?
That's a tough one because, yes, you want better for your children, but times have changed, man. It's just not gonna be. I feel bad for them for so many reasons. Like, like my daughter, she didn't even have a graduation. It was just like all these things. It's like time is just different. Generation is different because of technology. You know, I was watching somebody just talk about how children, some kids, they don't want to drive now. I'm like, what is that? You know, and I think because our fun, we had to get on a bike. You know, we had to go to the fun. Now they feel that they're so connected. The friend is just like, hey, what's going on, friend? Yeah, I'm like, wow, how do you fix that? How do you? But you guys are missing out on actual life, not virtual. This is virtual, it's not real. So I think part of the having that social aspect is gone. So you have a lot of people who are socially awkward when they're sitting there talking to people. You know, it's like they don't know how to act. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So I mean that's a tough one. But you know, we try to. I was brought up around a lot of folks. Both of my parents are educated, so I was always around. They would drag me places I didn't want to go, which I'm so thankful to this day that they
Do you do the same with your kids?
Absolutely. As many times, as many shows, or just things that, even if it's a meeting, if I think it's appropriate, I'll bring him. Just may not understand. He's starting to a little bit now. My oldest is in the third year NYU, so she's gone something. But she's really
That's
doing her
awesome.
thing. But yeah, I'm just trying to get him on the path of, look, man, I know it's different. It seems easier, but you got to put in your work. You got to put in the time. So I think just getting out, not just trying to drag him with me. So whether he understands it or not, like, you can thank me later. You know? But it's tough. There's no,
You know, musically, you just, you know, personally, your life, musically, professionally.
He was one of the greatest geniuses to ever do it, as we know. You know, he did so much music differently. You know, he was brave and bold, and you know, a lot of times we didn't understand what he was doing. You know, he's just like, he's just a different dude. You know, and he went in places where a lot of musicians would either never scared to do, but probably inside would have wanted to. You know, and paved the way for a lot of the younger generation right now to say and be who they want to be right now. And but he was always that. I remember seeing when I was younger, he would play these little local festivals, and I remember him driving up the little Volkswagen Beetle van, and him and Andre Simone, all these guys, and you know, just kicking just raw. It was just like straight, just bang. And so that kind of stuff, it just like was the influence, was the big thing, the big turn on. And then later on, just kind of meeting him and having a conversation. That's the biggest thing that I miss with him, is just having conversations about life. He talked about God a lot, you know, talked about, you know, music and, you know, his favorite artists and that kind of thing, and what he'd like to see. And my first solo CD, introducing Stokley, we were 2 weeks off from him actually getting on that, because that was one of the things he would, not one of the last conversations, but you know, one of the several that we had about me doing solo work. He was like, you know, love the group, and Stokley, when are you gonna do something? I was like, I'm working on it now. It's like, can I be a part of it? I was like, man. Yeah, man, just bring it to me when you're done, and we'll figure it out. And 2 weeks from that, it happened. So, but I think every bit of that, he's still, you know, his the whole Minneapolis, all the bands, all that DNA, musical DNA, is travels with me. And yeah, man, that's just one of the greatest, man. He had so many. A lot of his influences are my influences too. He talks about Santana, all the great bands of the '70s, you know, Earth, Wind, and you know, great artists like Stevie, and you know, just so many people. So we'd have these conversations, and you know, yeah, miss that dude like we all do, you know. And but he's created so much and just lit the path for so many others, you know. And yeah.
Get you, brother. No, it's all good. Oh, I got a picture with you already.